What's up? What's happening, everybody? We are back for another episode of Uncommon Commentators, episode 112. It's your boy, producer Wiley, back in the building with my guys, Garrett and Antoine. Shit, how y'all been doing today, man? How's the day been? How the day treated y'all today?
Yeah, not too bad, brother. Not too bad. Just today's my Friday, so thank God. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been an interesting day today. So caught off a lot of people off guard, but we'll get into that. But
Oh yeah.
good day, good day.
Shit, interesting day, interesting shit. A couple of days.
Yeah.
Antoine, how's it been going for you, dog?
I've been good, man. Just chilling. Same as y'all. Just kind of tired today. Just been staying up late the last few nights, but not always blessed to do this. Always look forward to these Thursday nights. This is the busiest free agency, like free agency we've had in a long time. So yeah,
And say between free agency and the draft, I was like, yo, and we'll get into it, but I was like, yo, how many fucking trades are we gonna get in this draft? Like, did they? I look. My question is, did they set a record? Did they set a record for trades within the draft? Because yo, they was trading motherfuckers left and right.
Yeah, mostly it was in the second round. It wasn't
Yeah,
that much
it started.
in the
It
first round
actually
though.
started late. It started late in the first round.
Yeah, late. Yeah, then it
It
started.
started
Yeah,
real late in the first round, and then it
yep,
just became a fucking thing come second round.
yep, yeah.
But
Yeah, a lot of action.
dog, as far as for myself, busy week for the not necessarily. I'll take that back. The week hasn't necessarily been busy, but today has definitely been busy. Yesterday was my girlfriend's birthday, so her 40th. So been trying to get shit ordered, get shit prepped as much as possible, and now today, hence the reason why we're starting late because of me, guys. For anybody watching and listening, we are late. We started late because of me, because I had to go to work, go downtown to the venue, help do some setup, do my setup as well, and then try and beat feet back to get on this get on this episode for y'all. But
Gotta do what you gotta do.
hey,
it's all good,
nonetheless,
man. It's all
Gotta do
good.
what
nonetheless,
you gotta
we
do.
we are here. Look, we here. We we got a lot to discuss. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we gonna kick it. We gonna kick this shit right on off. We gonna kick it
Yes,
right
sir.
on off. So off the rip, first trade that happened was Julius Randle. Julius Randle gets traded to the Nets in a three-team trade involving the Timberwolves and the Bulls. So the Nets, they got Julius Randle, and they ended up with the number 28 pick in the draft that just passed, and they picked up Joshua Jefferson. The Wolves, they got Mo Guie. Yeah, that's what we rolling with. Mo Guie from the Bulls, and the number 33 pick, which turned out to be Isaiah Evans from Duke. And the Bulls get Nick Claxton, which I feel like for the Bulls, solid pickup. Solid pickup. Antoine, we'll start with you. As far as this trade right here, what do you think about this trade? Because I have thoughts. I have my thoughts, but I'll let y'all go first.
Yeah, seeing Julius Randle get traded again, can't say it was too surprising based on how he performed in the playoffs. Just for me, that confirms that Minnesota, they did indeed regret trading Carl Anthony Towns. I'm pretty sure they regret that by now, given the situation. We also saw them. We're going to talk about it, but they traded Nas Reed as well. So they're making some moves. Some that some would like, some that some don't like. So for that trade in particular. I thought it was good, really, for all parties. Nick Claxton, he goes to Chicago. Nikola Vucevic is like 35 years old. He's still playing at a good level, but they obviously need some youth in that front court alongside Caleb Wilson now. And yeah, like even outside of that, let me just make sure I got the right notes for the package too. Yeah, like I said, yeah. So the Wolves get exactly, yeah, Mo Gay in the 33rd pick. So I thought just that part alone, I thought it was good for Minnesota to at least get some draft capital off of that. Because some people think they let Julius Randle go for basically nothing, damn near. But yeah, like it was unfortunate to see Julius Randle get traded yet again. His son said he's happy to be back in New York and Brooklyn. So at least yeah, at least he has that to look forward to. But I mean, yeah, the Brooklyn Nets, they get another quality player, a fringe star, alongside Michael Porter Jr., who had a great year up there. And we're gonna see what they do. Like they got the 6th pick. They drafted Mikael Brown Jr. So now you get another veteran, an all-star veteran at that can help teach your young rookie as they build for the future. So I thought it was good for the Nets. I thought it was good for Chicago because they also got Caleb Wilson. And the Wolves, like that was one of many moves they were trying to make. So I think overall the Wolves have done a pretty good job this offseason, I think.
Garrett, what you got?
You know, the Wolves, I started to like them for a little bit. I thought that they were heading in the right direction when they had the trio of Cat, Anthony, Carl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and not Julius Randle, but Rudy Gobert, excuse me. But this team is really not trending towards in the right direction because over the last few days or weeks, a lot of talk has been about Anthony Edwards not being happy, wanting the team to really start making serious moves for them to contend in the Western Conference. And right now, they're not really trending in that direction, in my opinion. I know there's more context that we'll get into later, but I mean, with this trade for Julius Randle, it doesn't really move the needle for me. Julius Randle, he was a solid piece for the Timberwolves. So I would assume that they would have tried to find some other ways to build around Carl. I don't know why I keep calling Anthony Towns, but around Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. That's just how god awful the trade is. Excuse me, but yeah, that's just my biggest takeaway. So I will say for the Bulls, I think Nick Claxton is a really solid pickup. I think that he would fit pretty nicely next to Caleb Wilson, who they selected with the number 4th overall pick. So we know how he's going to impact the team. So a front court featuring Caleb Wilson and Nick Claxton, I think that's going to be really, really good. You have 2 athletic bigs that can protect the rim. I think that's the biggest thing with their athleticism. So, but yeah, but I mean, like I said, Julius Randle, he is he's an all-star. He won most improved player. So, like I said, I think that it wasn't necessarily a good move for the Timberwolves that they were looking to compete in the Western Conference. I think it would have been more beneficial for them to try to keep them and go from there. But at the same time, we never know what happens until you find out the next move. But for Brooklyn Nets, I say it was a solid piece for them to pick up. It looks like that they're trying to make a run to make a run into the playoffs. So you have Mikael Brown Jr. that Antoine mentioned. And then you have the other young guys, and you add Julius Randle, a solid veteran, to the team. So I'm pretty sure that they'll make some other moves for Brooklyn if they're trying to really compete in the Eastern Conference to make a playoff run. But the free agency pretty much just started, so there's a lot of more moves, and that we'll probably see later on. But yeah, like I said, I think it was a solid move for the Nets, but for the Wolves, not really happy with that.
Yeah, what direction the Wolves are going in, I have no clue. But I look at it from Julius Randle's standpoint. I don't know what to say from here, big dog. You were on a very good New York team, but you seem to be the underperforming piece, at least for me, and actually for a lot of Knicks fans. But for me, you were the under you were under shit. What's the word I'm looking for? Underperforming. There we go. Yes, you were underperforming for a for a player that showed a good amount of promise. Uh, being a being a young Laker at the time, and then you get to New York and your game begins to evolve a little bit, but y'all know for me it was attitude, and he showed it. He definitely showed it after the trade, where you saw two sides of the coin between him and Cat. Hence the reason why in earlier episodes I went off on Julius Randle, because it's like, dude, you have an opportunity to either prove New York wrong or prove them right. Essentially, you have proved them right, and Cat ended up proving people wrong once he actually Cat proved people wrong as soon as he got there. But now this following season, the way his game matured, he ended up proving doubters wrong as far as the trade went. And so um with the Bulls, I like them picking up Nick Claxton, a good very good rim runner, athletic. Um, you got Montes.
Bruce
Yeah, Montes Bucelis there. Who else? They got who else
Josh
they got?
Giddey.
Yeah, Josh Giddey. It's another. What the fuck is the other
They,
like big there?
they just
Because it's
drafted
another.
Talking about Jalen
Yeah,
Smith.
it's probably, but it's another big, like pretty much another athletic big that they have. I'm like, essentially, you'll have three bigs that are quick enough and athletic enough to defend, to rim run. It's just more so what the Bulls do next to kind of finish putting that team together. Um, and like I said, with the Wolves, have no clue what they're doing, because guess what they do? They go and trade for LaMelo Ball, which shocked the hell out of me, because last night, I think it was like late last night, you get something from Sham saying, "Hey, the Hornets are," but to be fair, we talked about this we talked about this like 8 months ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Like 8-9 months ago, we talked about LaMelo Ball possibly being moved, but it was going to be hard to do in the middle of the season. So now we're here, and he gets traded to the Timberwolves, and so the Timberwolves get LaMelo Ball, and Josh Green, where the Hornets get Naz Reid, the 2033 unprotected first round pick, three first round pick swaps, 2028, 2029, 2030, and then 3 second round picks, 2029, 2032,
and 3 second round picks,
2033.
boy.
So the Hornets got pretty much as they can get for LaMelo Ball. I love the fact that they got Naz Reid out of this. Everything, and then everything else afterwards, like it's pretty much like they're pretty much building for the future. And actually, and when you look at these picks, when you look at the years of these picks, that shit's around the corner. We're already going into 2026, 2027 season. So these picks that they got are pretty much around the corner. Garrett, I will start with you. So with this trade, this Hornets and T-Wolves trades, what you got for me?
Yeah, I think for the Timberwolves, I could say that adding a player like LaMelo Ball, I think it puts a smirk on Anthony Edwards' face, but I don't think this is something that would be overly exciting for many fans. Only because for me, I don't think that this really moves the needle for Minnesota to push to be a championship contending team. And and that's the whole reason why I keep harping on them trading Karl Anthony Towns, because of the fact that after you gave it a year between him and Ant-Man and Rudy Gobert, you had the number one defense in the league. You went to the
Mhm.
Western Conference Finals, so you're trending in the right direction. So I think that uh, and the whole reason and purpose of that move was because they didn't want to go into the luxury chats or the second apron or whatever the case may have been. That's understandable, but I think that they could have shifted some money around, whether they had to let go, a role player or two just to get out of that. So I think that they should have tried harder to keep that nucleus together. So, but in this case here, would it be a fun backcourt to watch? I think it would, because you have Ant Man, who's a top five player in my eyes, and you have Lamella Ball, who is a really good shooter, at his
Mhm.
position and his ability to facilitate for others as well. So I think it would be a fun backcourt for them. But at the same time, do I see this move turning them into a championship contending team? No. Uh, Now, granted, we'll see what happens with the rest of the summer and the free agency and etc. But yeah, like I said, I think it was a okay move. So they gave up a lot for Lamelo. So my thing is that if they're going to make these kind of moves, then they have to proceed quickly if they're trying to contend for a championship, because I think
Mhm.
Anthony Edwards, I wouldn't say that he's on the verge of requesting a trade, but I think he's starting to lose his patience just a tad bit. So Minnesota, they have to get on it if they're looking to win now. So
Garrett.
I mean, nights I'm
I
off me.
mean, Antoine, I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good. Um, and yeah, with Lamelo getting traded, I'll be honest, like I mean, it was kind of surprising. I never thought it would happen this early in his career. He just got drafted in 2020. And now the Wolves got the number one overall pick and the number three overall pick from that draft on the same team. It's interesting. It's an interesting backcourt combination. I thought Lamelo had a great year individually. He was finally healthy this year for the Charlotte Hornets. We did see them make the NBA play-in, so they were right there. For the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost to Miami, but nah, they beat Miami. They lost to Orlando. That's who they lost to.
Yeah.
And I think for Anthony Edwards, I think the pairing can work. I do think that Anthony Edwards is a better defender than LaMelo Ball, so he might have to pick up some slack when it comes to guarding the other opposing guard in the backcourt. But I think it helps the Wolves with another good scorer, another great playmaker, a damn near a number two option alongside Anthony Edwards, which they hadn't really had since losing Carl Anthony Towns the way that they did. So now they have a solidified number two option. The Wolves have been making the playoffs even without Cat, just with the Anthony core. So we'll see how much this will help them come that playoff time. I do think that the Spurs and the Thunder are still like head and shoulders above everyone else in the Western Conference. But I think for this, it does give them a chance to get out the first round consistently. It gives LaMelo the chance to play some real meaningful basketball for the first time in his professional career. And I think that's going to be good for him. I think Anthony Edwards is going to make a good influence on him, even though they're around the same age. And I think getting traded will certainly wake up Lamelo. I'd be surprised that if it didn't. Especially you live in Minnesota now. It's cold out there. You're not really I'm pretty sure there's something to do, but most players just focus up there when they go up to Minnesota. So now it's just him, the snow, and basketball. Lamelo. So I think he'll be. Well, we'll get the best Lamelo up in Minnesota alongside a still top five player like Anthony Edwards, like how Garrett said. So I thought it was a good trade for Minnesota. We just got to see how it works. We got to see how they pair together. But offensively, it's lethal. And for Charlotte, yeah, I like what Wiley said. How they got Nas Reed. I'm pretty sure he was the first person they asked for when it came to that trade. And yeah, they had to give up that draft capital. I don't want to say you're damn near restarting if you're Charlotte, because you're getting Nas Reed. You still have Concanepo, and you managed to keep Brandon Miller. So you still have 2-star players along with a 6 man of the year. And Nas Reed. So I thought it was pretty good for both parties and what their intentions are. The Wolves are intended on getting back into serious playoff contention, and the Hornets are serious about carving out the rest of their future. And obviously LaMelo Ball was not in that future. Maybe it was like his personality, the contract, whatever it might be. But with Concanepo balling out the way that he did, it just made it way easier to let him go, knowing that you could build around Concanepo for the future.
With Minnesota, my thing is who's going to play foul forward? Who's going to back up Rudy Gobert?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a lot of holes to fill now, because you
lost
have
Randall and Reed.
Right. You lost your backup. You ended up trading what would have been your backup power forward, like in Nas Reed, to start at the power forward position. So you have to fill that slot.
For real.
Now it makes everybody else have to step up. At the most, it'll be some fun as far as when it comes between LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards, but outside of those two, I'm not. I mean, again, we have plenty of time during this offseason to figure out what Minnesota's going to do to fill in those gaps. But
Dosunmu just got paid, I believe, didn't he?
Yeah, yes, he got paid. So, and I think that was part of it too. It was the fact that they wanted to pay him. So,
right.
Yeah, you had to make these moves, but sometimes you gotta just take the hit in that luxury tax.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll be trying to tell people.
OKC found out early about it, but then they figured some shit out. They got smarter, and the rest was history.
Mm-hmm. Please and thank you. I will say that.
Right. From Charlotte. From Charlotte's side, I actually like it because
I like it a lot. I do, yeah.
Because, like you said, you got Concanepo and Brandon Miller, so those are your two that you end up building around. You still have Miles Bridges for what it's worth at the time, for the time being, unless they decide to trade him. But then you get Kobe White to re-up today for three more years. So you have your point guard, which Kobe White has been my guy since he got drafted to the Bulls. So I'm always going to root for Kobe White, no matter what. But yeah, I like what the Hornets are doing. They have a shit ton of draft capital, so now they're in a position. They're actually in a very, very, very good position.
Good position. They could build, really build around their stars now.
Not only that, but if they want to, they can legit go after somebody else.
Package
go after another. Right. They can do a package deal and get somebody else to bring on, because they actually do have a little bit of cap space. Yep. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how this shit goes. Again, this is early. We're just getting done with the draft. Free agency is kind of kicking off. The shit none of these trades stick until I think in a couple of days.
I think it's July 6th.
Yeah, July
something like
July
that.
6th.
Yeah. Yep. So okay, so we got like a good week and a half or so. So all of these,
this is just verbal verbal
Yeah,
agreement.
all these are all these are verbal agreements for the time being until that deadline hits. But for the most part, again, did the LaMelo Ball, I just didn't expect him to be in
I didn't.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, like not this early. Like traded maybe, but not this early in his career. You know.
Oh no, I've seen it this early in his career. I just didn't expect it to be Minnesota of all teams. That was about it.
Because
Yeah,
I
And to
thought
be
he still
honest,
played good last
a
year. You
different
know,
move, honestly. Tell you the
I thought he
truth.
still played really good last year. I thought last year was his
oh
best
no,
year. You know,
It's
and
a
he
yeah.
Dana
finally
move, the way I look at it, kind of,
Look,
honestly.
I
because you know
said,
he finally got supporting cast this year. Like, I mean, it took
look,
so long.
I said after he got in that when he fucked his damn Hummer up.
Hummer, are you talking about that wreck? Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I felt like. It's like he got his shit together because he started playing a hell of a lot better and a hell of a lot smarter than what he had previously played, at
for
least to
sure.
me. But of course, y'all know why we're really talking about these trades, and the trade of all trades happened a
Best
couple of
one for
days ago,
last. Best one for
and
last.
that's the Heat going and getting Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Shit was
They
crazy.
also get Bobby Portis, and the Bucks get Tyler Hero, Kasparis, however you pronounce his last name. I'm not gonna fuck
Kasparis
it up.
Yakuchonis,
That guy. Jaime
Jaime
I mean,
Jaquez.
Jaquez.
Jr., Khalil Ware, 3 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, 1 second-round pick. Hey,
And
I'll
they
be
got
fucking
Nate
his names wrong.
Amint too. They got Nate Amint during the first round of the draft. He was supposed to go
Okay, yeah.
to
Yeah, the 13
Milwaukee. He
pick.
got sent
Yeah.
to the Heat. So they got Nate Amint too, another 6'10" wing.
So another trade that another team has a shit ton of holes to fill. They went from being young. The Heat have went from being young to being old in one trade, but they get their guy. They get their guy, Antoine. Heat, Giannis to the Heat. What you got?
Man, it was pretty incredible. I'm gonna see it actually go down like that. The fact he's gonna be wearing a different jersey, like I like it's so crazy. I was playing 2K last night and I get it's a video game, but it was just so crazy to actually see him in another jersey. I mean, yeah, you know, the Heat get one of the greatest players ever of this generation. You know, he's still playing at a really high level, played phenomenal last year. Just the team was abysmal. The Bucks had no direction. They waived Damian Lillard, all of these things. So for Miami, they get a 31-year-old superstar who just averaged 27.6, 9.8, and 5.4. So I mean, man, shooting 62% from the field, he is still very much a top 3 player when healthy. Giannis Antetokounmpo. So very much could be an MVP candidate if the Heat can string together a good season. The biggest thing about it that Pat Riley has to get used to is that contract. Giannis is making a lot of money. It's like
Ooh,
62.
boy.
It's like 62 million
Oh.
for 1 year. 1 year of service. And of course, him being 31 years old right now, at the peak of his powers, he is absolutely expecting a contract extension. So it really all comes down to, so this upcoming season he'll make 58 million. He has a player option for the 27-28 worth 62 million. He's picking that up. You're not leaving a $62 million bag on the table. So I guess it's good for both teams that first year. They can see how they perform, how Giannis fares in the Eric Spoelstra system, alongside Bam Adebayo. And we'll just see how it goes. You know, they traded their star point guard. And so, you know, we won't get to see how the big 3 goes. But it was good. You know, Miami gave up a lot to get him. A lot of, I mean, talent from Khalil Ware. I was shocked they traded Ware, to be quite honest. I think they'll regret that later down the line. You know, later on. I know it's Giannis right now. But yeah, like Jaime Jaquez, he was playing like a 6 man of the year candidate. He's gone now. So they gave up a lot to get him. But you know, to end my take on it, I thought it was a great play for the Heat. They won the sweepstakes. I mean, it's a good team on paper. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right roster. I mean, yeah, like everyone knows, like, Bam Adebayo is certainly solidified. I'm just curious on how the spacing is going to work, because everyone knows that Giannis cannot stretch the floor like that. Bam has gotten better at shooting threes, but I mean, they got just they're gonna have to make some moves, because you got Davion Mitchell, you got Kashad Johnson, like Simon Fontecchio, like you got all these players, but Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, I forgot about Powell, so they got to get a better point guard.
I was
That's
gonna
for
say
sure.
they got to see if Norman Powell gonna stay.
Yeah, most definitely. Like they have to, because Powell, fresh off an All-Star caliber season, he will be sought after.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's really all I got to say on him. I'm not gonna hog the time. It was a great move for Miami. For Milwaukee, I guess to end on them too, they get to move forward. Getting Nate Ament was super duper clutch, because you have your star of the present with the Wisconsin native in Tyler Hero, and you have someone to build around for the future with Nate Ament. And I think he's gonna be really good. I think in that system, I think he will pan out. And he has a lot of, he has stuff on his shoulders. I don't think he'll be Giannis's successor or nothing like that, but hopefully he can become something. And I wish Tyler Hero the best of luck becoming a number one option overnight.
Yeah. It was about time, man. They finally did it. It was not going to end on a good note between Giannis and Milwaukee. I think we all knew that it was only a matter of time before they were going to head for a divorce, and they, got it done. So I would say for the for the Bucks standpoint, as far as the value that they got pretty good value back in return. You basically had your the 10th overall pick that they already had, their own pick. You selected Braden Burris out of
They
Arizona.
get Braden Burris. Forgot about that too. Yeah.
Yep. And, you have Nate Ament that Antoine alluded to with the 13th overall pick. So you have that. And then you add really good key players in Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez and Khalil Ware, et cetera. So, and then you have the draft capital. So, yeah, you start off, pretty solid with the return that you receive. So now it's all about, building your team from there. So I kind of think that they waited a little bit too late, honestly, for Milwaukee, honestly, in terms of Giannis, because I mean, after they had their championship run, the team was starting to fall apart already. I mean, key players that contributed to that finals run started to leave, bit by, piece by piece. You saw Chris Middleton depart, you saw Brook Lopez leave, you saw Drew Holiday leave, and Wesley Matthews and other key players. So, granted, they did get aggressive by going after Damian Lillard, and at that point, after they decided to let him go, I think that was really, really the downfall, really, because that was the only player that was, making Giannis, happy to a certain degree, because he didn't like the move. But like I said, I think they just waited a little bit too long, honestly. I mean, they could have gotten, more value back, because honestly, when you are a player of his caliber, a former MVP and former Defensive Player of the Year player, I mean, if it's not going in the right direction, I mean, you want to get the most value back in return. So that's why I say I think they waited a little bit too long. So you have to settle for what they receive. Now, in terms of Miami, I really do like this move. I think this is really intriguing. Obviously, everybody is going to look at their front court between him and Bam Adebayo. That front court is going to be really, really tough. Until they figure it out of how they can mesh together. I think that's going to be very, very intriguing front court, because we know Bam Adebayo. We know how versatile he is as a defender. I mean, he is one hell of a defender, and one hell of a player too. I mean, he's a guy that can do it all. He can score. He can pass. He can rebound. All those things. And so you have another guy in Giannis that can do the same thing. So it's going to be hard to really score and defend against those guys. So I think that's a really good foundation for Pat Riley. And then now just more so just building around those players. So you mentioned Norman Powell. From what I've seen and heard, it seems like that he'll be leaving, but who knows? So it's just more so now of okay, you add your foundational pieces with Giannis and Bam. So how are you going to build around this team to compete in the East? And we know Pat Riley is all about winning championships. He's a winner. So I'm pretty sure that he'll figure it out. But like I said, I think this was a really solid fit for Giannis. I was hoping, honestly, that he was going to go to Boston. I think that would have been the better fit for him between him and Jason Tatum, honestly. So that was who I was predicting that he was going to go to. But obviously they didn't, get it done there. But like I said, him in Miami, I think that's going to be really, really good. We know the fans are going to welcome him with big open arms. And like I said, the Miami Heat, they're all about winning championships. So it'd be interesting for Pat Riley to see how they're going to build this, around Giannis and Bam, because we know Giannis, he's, up there in age kind of. So, he has about a few more years, but if they're going to win a championship, then, obviously that they got to go right now to try to get it done.
Trying to figure out where I want to start. Oh, for the whole Boston portion, I would have liked to have seen Giannis in Boston too, but I think Boston was never in question for Giannis. Like I don't think he wanted to go to Boston. Like if you give me Boston or Miami from a living standpoint, yes, I'm going to Miami. Now, from a basketball standpoint, it's a toss up because we know what we know about Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and how they get down, but also we know that Boston has a winning culture as well. So it's more so are you going for the are you going more for the basketball culture or are you going more for a kind of a luxury or a more fit as far as for living type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, and of course we know that he had got wife, got kids, so I'm pretty sure Miami was an easy pick for him. So although had he had gone to Boston and fucked around and done, been hell, I wouldn't even say get a championship, but at the very least make it to the finals, he would have been set for life out there on just on the strength because of how we'll say passionate Boston Celtics fans are.
Yeah.
For Miami's sake, yeah, they got, like I said, they got old in off of one trade. So they have to figure out how to get a little bit younger, but also not only just younger, but at least better, a little bit better than what this team looks like. Again, you don't know what Andrew Wiggins is going to do because he has a player option. You don't know what what's my guy? Norman Powell. There we go. Don't know what Norman Powell's going to do. So once you figure those two out, you can make your move from there. Now, I possibly would entertain trading Andrew Wiggins. For who? No clue. But you kind of gotta start somewhere. Like, and it's just more so you don't want them guys leaving for nothing. Like you're not getting anything out of it. For the Bucks, you get a clean slate. And I say that with one, Doc Rivers should have never gotten hired. You had, I think, had for me, that was the start point of the Bucks' downfall. Switching your coach mid-season, especially when Adrian Griffin had they had a winning record. So it wasn't like
35-13.
right. It wasn't like y'all were getting thumped every game. Like y'all had a winning record. Y'all were doing fine. So I think that's where the real downfall started, and it just became a trickle effect after that. And then you start grasping for straws once Doc Rivers gets there, going to get Dame and making all these other moves that didn't make any sense. But you get a clean slate. You got a new coach. Yeah, for Tyler Hero, I may kind of muddle a little bit and see if anybody wants him. Not gonna hold you. And this is just from a contract thing, not hell, to be honest, a play thing too. So unless if he stays in Milwaukee, I hope he has a chip on his shoulder. That's all, and that's all I will say when it comes to that. Have no clue what direction the Bucks are going in from this point forward. So we will see once they construct this roster, and we'll be able to give a better take. But for now, just for now, with what they got, I mean, you got a good haul. You got a good young squad. It's just more so constructing this team to be a decent winning team. Right now, you just want to try and stack wins and hopefully and see where it goes from there. So, that's really all I got for these trades. Again, waking up at fucking 4:00 in the morning and you see that Giannis got traded at midnight is fucking insane, and my fucking timeline goes to shit. My timeline immediately just it was already enough with Caitlin Clark shit, and then my timeline gets even more chaotic with this. So I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it, guys, for doing this random ass trade in the middle of the night.
So man, them dudes be working, man. Them dudes not for the bed, yo. Those executives.
I mean, but also this is the time to start making your move.
Baby, like, man, like yo, you get caught taking a nap on the job, you're getting fucking fired, G. When it's time to get these players, when it's time to make these calls, these dudes want to win. At all, man, because more winning means more money, like just everything, you know.
Again, y'all know me. You got to find out who's the dumbest GM on the block and just pillage their roster. And seems to be, well, actually, Minnesota seems to be the fucking one at this
say like
point.
Joe Dumars still has a lot to prove, man. When it comes to the Pelicans, you know. He got Queen in tears.
Well, yeah, but that's off drafting. So he made some very good draft picks, but you still got Zion there, and it's like, well, what the fuck are y'all gonna do with him? Like, I to me, his time is up. It's been a good ride. I feel like you need a new destination. That's just me. But again, right. That's another podcast for another day. But to the real NBA draft is over and done. 2 days of what felt like nonstop trades after those later rounds. To me, it felt like it was it was chalk up until we got to pick 5. And for me, it kind of went to some decent, some interesting places, shall I say. So we'll run down the lottery. So the first 13, 12, 13,
14.
14? 14. So we'll run down 14, the first 14. Mm-hmm. So AJ DeBanza number 1, which they ruined my conspiracy. I hate y'all. But AJ DeBanza number 1, Darren Peterson number 2, Cam Cam Boozer, number 3, Caleb Williams, number 4. Those outside of 1 and 2, that was pretty much chalk, depending on who you had going number 1. But pretty much chalk. And then what we were talking about last week, then you get Keaton Wagler to the Clippers at 5. Here's the one that raised my eyebrow. Mikael Brown Jr. at 6 to the fucking Nets, which I was like, oh really? Dean Darius.
I thought that'd be a boost, yeah.
That's where it started. I was thinking about y'all in Atlanta with this 8th pick. So you have Darius Acuff Jr. at 7 to the Kings. Then y'all pick up Kingston Flemings at 8. Morez Johnson Jr. to the
Dallas,
to the Mavs.
That was a surprise to me too. You know, he was good. You know, I thought he'd be, top 15, but to see him go top 10, I was like, all right, especially knowing that they got Gafford and Lively still in Dallas,
Then you have Braden Burries to the Bucks at 10. Yaxel Lindenborg, however you pronounce his last name. I'll be fucking up names, y'all.
No, you got it. Yeah. You
so
said
he's
it right.
he's to the Warriors at 11. This one was very interesting, and I felt like the rich got richer with the Thunder. Ade Mara at 12.
It's a great pickup.
Ooh! You want to know who that pick came from? The goddamn Clippers. Thanks, Paul George. You got Nate Ament to the Bucks.
Yeah, via Miami. Yeah, it was the Heat's pick.
It was Miami's. That was for Miami's pick, but he's to the Bucks. And then you got Haynes Steinbach to the Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that was a steal too. Getting Hans that low.
I didn't watch much. He played out. Look, he was out west. I didn't watch a lot of them games. It's hard to watch those West Coast games. But overall, like I said, a very, very, very busy draft 2 days of drafting. Garrett, I will start with you. We'll start with just the lottery. What are your thoughts as far as just the lottery picks before we go to the rest of the draft?
Yeah, I think overall the draft went pretty much the way most people had expected. I mean, the draft really started at number 5. I mean, we knew who was going to be picked in the top 4. To your point, I guess there was some, questioning of who was going to go number 1 or number 2. But other than that, I mean, like I said, the draft really started at number 5. Keaton Wagler was honestly my pick that I wanted to come to Atlanta, but I was thinking that Mikael Brown Jr. was going to go number 5 from what I was feeling. But
to be honest, I thought he was going to drop to y'all. I thought y'all was going to end up taking him.
And what I was hoping was that what I was hoping was for Brooklyn to take Nate Ament, because I knew they had some interest in them. So if that took place, then one of those guys would have came to Atlanta. But at the same time, I do love Kingston Flemings. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the kid is super, fast. He's super quick, and I would say for a player like that can get to the rim, that's going to create more opportunities for your offense. So I knew that was something that the Hawks needed next to Jalen Johnson. So, great pickup for the Hawks there. And, but yeah, Braden Burries and Ade Amara and Morez Johnson. I think Morez Johnson was the only guy that was shocking to me at number 9. I was thinking that Dallas was going to pick him up. Not Morez Johnson, but Braden Burries was a guy I thought he was going to go to Dallas. But But yeah, like I said, overall the lottery went pretty much the exact same way that
Yeah.
a lot of people thought. So I guess the only thing that would be interesting for me for Brooklyn is how they're going to figure out their young guys, because they have a pretty a large amount of guards that they have. So I'm not sure, who they're going to keep and all that kind of stuff, but I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out. But other than that, they have a log jam. But other than that, though, yeah, I think the lottery went, exactly the way we all thought. So it was solid.
Antoine, what you got on the lottery
Mm.
picks?
I got you. Let me know if I'm lagging or anything like that. Like my computer's moving slow on my screen. But nah, man. I thought it was a good draft. Like how Garrett said, I really thought it really kicked off at 5. Everyone knew what was gonna happen from 1 through 4. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, Keaton Wagler did go to LA like how we thought. I feel you on the Mikael Brown Jr. to Brooklyn pick. I did think that would be Darius Akuf, but I guess, some people were too sold on him. I'm so happy for Akuf. He's going to a team that he can really be the focal point from the very beginning. And that's what I wanted for him most of all. So he could actually, like, we could see that happen. Him be like the guy. For number 8 at Atlanta, that was a great pick for us getting Kingston Flemings. Man, I woke up this morning, still kind of shocked that he's like a hawk, because he's just a really, really good player. He's one of the best point guards, if not arguably like the second best in this draft, just given his athleticism, his defense, and his scoring and his playmaking. So out. Morris Johnson Jr. going number 9. I can't say it was a total shock because he's a really, really good player. But I know Dallas already had some bigs. The Bucks, they knew the Giannis era is over. So Braden Burries, like I said earlier, I forgot they drafted him. He'll probably be the guy they really look to build around for the future because he does have all-star potential. Braden Burries. So overall, I thought the draft was really good. Like number 11, Yaxel Lindenborg. That's another great situation too because he doesn't need to be 19 or 20 trying to fight for playing time. Golden State, they're trying to win now, even when they're in the 8th seed, 7th seed. So as long as Curry is playing, they're gonna try to win. And Yaxel is the most NBA ready prospect in the lottery. I think he's 24 right now. So yeah, and like for number 12, how you said the rich do get richer with Ade Mara. They're a massive team, the Thunder. They have Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, and Ade Mara now. Ade Mara is damn near 7'4". He measured 7'3" with no shoes. So he's
Hmm.
damn near 7'4". So they're huge, man. And that's gonna pay dividends when they play against Victor Wembanyama again, which that's certainly inevitable. When they play him, they're going to be able to have that trump card in there that he might not stop him, but he can definitely put a hand in his face, interfere with Wemby's game, and all of that. Not as rookie year, but later down the line, Ade Mar is going to be massive for that Spurs matchup. Number 13, that was Natum Mint to the Bucks. Another good pick for them. Another great piece to build around Braden Burries with. I think Burries is the focal point, while Nate is the piece. And for the 14th pick, that was Hans Steinbach. That was a steal. He averaged like 18 points and like 12 rebounds a game in college. So he was a monster. To see him go that low, we knew he'd be the steal of the draft. I think he could be a star too. Just off the double doubles, like that kind of skill set. I thought it was a really good draft. For most teams involved, it was really hard to go wrong with all the prospects on this board. And yeah, I thought it was good. We saw a bunch of movement in the second round too. But yeah, I thought the draft lived up to the hype, and most players went to where they were mocked to going.
Yeah, my my guy from Alabama, LeBaron Philon
Graham
Jr.
Filan.
filing. He goes to the 76. Although I thought he would be a lot higher.
That's a
I'm
steal.
kind of yeah, he's definitely a steal, but I thought he would be right outside the lottery, if not like that final lottery pick, depending on
Mhm.
Actually, no. Looking at the teams that picked, so you had a forward, center, for so yeah, never mind. Unless the Bucks would have picked him up at 10, yeah, he was gonna be outside that lottery.
Mhm.
But
Like,
but yeah,
like the Spurs guy, Jaden Quaintance, man, that's crazy to think about. If he's
I
healthy.
saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, I really thought he was gonna be a late lottery pick, but to my understanding, it was just the injuries that caused a red flag, so that's why he slipped
Hmm.
um, so far down. But I mean,
Woo, they're gonna be
it's
good.
still a great pickup for San Antonio because if they're able to,
Hell yeah,
get him back in shape, then I think he's all set from there. So that was a
Yeah.
good pick for them.
crazy
Um.
front.
So now that we got the lottery out the way, so I will. What was What was the most surprising pick of the draft for y'all? Like just
Um,
overall.
Me, I was surprised that Cameron Carr fell to the Lakers. He was traded to the Knicks. But I mean, yeah, he's really going to the Lakers. They did a
Hmm.
swap for 24 and 25. I'll say that's what was on my mind. I was shocked he fell that low. He was mocked to go to Miami at 13. But I guess,
Hmm.
when they traded for Giannis, that just changed everything. So I'll say Cameron Carr of the Baylor University going 24. 25, yeah.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would say even honestly for me, I would say getting Henry Visar from North Carolina because a lot of people thought that he was going to be a late first round pick, but the word was that he was trying to navigate his way here. So I guess they saw him as a really good fit here in Atlanta. But I mean, the kid is really skilled offensive big. I mean, he can play in a pick and roll, pick and pop. He shot 42%
Yeah.
from three for North Carolina. So, I don't expect them to be, in the rotation immediately.
Hmm.
I expect them to, get some run with the college Skyhawks. So college Park Skyhawks. And, if he, happens need to, come in to play minutes, if, we have an injury or whatever, then I think he can fulfill that role. But yeah, I think that's the biggest shock for me. But yeah, there were a couple of names like Antoine alluded to, Cameron Carr. Uh, you know, I think that I thought he was going to be more in the mid lottery. So, but that sometimes those things happen. But yeah, but
Yeah.
there's at the very
Yeah.
active trade.
I
A
would
lot of
say
active trades in the second round.
yeah, Cole Pete was one of them. Was one of the ones that I like. He was the last pick in the first round. It ended up going to Phoenix. It was originally Dallas's the Mavs pick,
Yeah,
but he ended up going to Phoenix. So he was one of the ones that I was like, damn. I was like, I remember seeing a couple of games of him play. I was like, damn good prospect, but I didn't expect him to drop that far.
This is
yeah,
first shot.
yeah. I think it's because a lot of people, from what I've heard, that teams felt like he wasn't ready. They
Hmm.
thought that he should
Yeah,
have stayed.
lack
Yeah,
of a jumper,
yeah,
like a lack of
stayed
a
in
consistent
college.
jumper, shall I say?
Right. Yeah. Stayed in college for at least another year, but he decided to
Mhm.
you know go all the way in. So
Yeah,
As a 6'8"
and
power forward with no jump shot like that.
right, and then like I said, the second round was filled with trades, and I after a while I
yeah.
was so goddamn confused of who was going where. I was just like, you know what, I give up. I give up. I do see that the Louisville Ryan Conwell from Louisville, he's actually going to Miami, which would have been the rich getting richer again because that was OKC's pick, but he
Yeah.
got traded to it got traded to Miami. So I'll be interested to see how he does with Miami. See watching him here in Louisville, quick guard can shoot. can get to the rack. So I'm interested to see how well he does in the NBA. Any any alibis? Any yeah, I'm just looking through because y'all's late second round pick, Atlanta's late second round pick, y'all traded it to the Clippers. Like I said, it was just a shit. It was a shit ton of trades in that second round that
I will say
I
even
was
our own
lost.
pick also, Zuby Ejiofor,
Edgefor.
Mhm.
Ejiofor out of St. John's. I think he was a
I
really
think
solid
you might have
pickup.
said it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, when you have players, I mean, really, it just depends on how your team is already built currently. But
Yeah.
I would say for him and Vsar, I think these are guys that are going to spend more time in at College Park. But who knows? They could they could make an immediate impact right away. But for for Zuby, I think he has the ability to guard multiple positions. He's pretty quick for a guy at his size, and being
Mhm.
able to just do make the right reads, and he's really he plays very hard. Just having that lack of well, I would say but we've had lack of toughness on this team, so being able to add that kind of spirit, that kind of effort to the team, I think that's going to help a lot. But I think overall, I think we really hit these picks very good. So I mean,
Hmm.
Every one of
of
them. Hell
course,
yeah.
yeah. So these are really good picks. So I can't complain. So I'm very
Uh,
excited to see what they do in the summer league. So
and before we get to the finale of the segment, what was y'all's favorite pick in the draft?
Favorite for the fit. Um
I'm just talking about in general. Don't matter the team. Don't
yeah,
matter the player. Just who was your.
I'm thinking um
honestly,
I
I had to
like
go. You can go ahead, Antoine.
go ahead. I was gonna say I like Keaton Wagler in Los Angeles a lot. I think he's gonna
Mhm.
fit really good in that shooting guard position, playing alongside Darius Garland. I wanted him to go there because I thought it was tailor made. And he can build and he could be the guy they finally build around for the future. They actually have a future now, having Keaton Wagler on the roster. And I've always liked this game, so I want to see how far he can go with the Clippers. The way the timeline is angled, he'll be the focal point, even with an older Garland by his side. So that's what I want to
Mhm.
see Keaton in Los Angeles.
Man, I really wanted Keaton Wagler here in Atlanta. Like that was my guy, but yeah, that's gonna sting me for a little bit. Um, I would say honestly, for me, I think that. mm, I will say that I do like AJ DeBansa in
In
Washington, not
Washington.
because he was a number one overall pick, but I do like the fit with him and Trey Young and Anthony Davis if they are able to come to agreement on a contract extension if he's able to play you know reasonable amount of games, but it's hit or miss. But no, I think just for the fact that he fits for the team's timeline, very, very well. Of course, he's going to start day one. And so really just having that, um, you know, that combination with him and Trey, I think, Trey is going to be the key to their success, honestly, because we know what he can do as a scorer, but being able to put these guys in position to be better with this ability to facilitate. So that's the main thing I'm looking forward to. And, between Trey and AJ and the other guys, I will say for Darian Peterson going to Utah, uh, I think it's going to be a solid fit for him, honestly. It doesn't seem like Keontae George and the Jazz are going to come to a contract extension, but who knows? They may say things a different way, but I know that they are building a very solid young team themselves with Laurie Markkinen and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Mhm.
I guess it's up in the air if they're able to re-sign Walker Kessler, but hypothetically, if they're able to do so, then you have those players, and then you add Darian Peterson. I think you have a solid young core. So, at that point, it's just more so just building around the edges, though. But
Mhm.
But yeah, so it'd be interesting how these guys come together on their own respective teams.
Mine was Cam Boozer. Mine was Cam Boozer to the Grizzlies. Like I think
Grizzlies.
that's a solid pickup. Now this is this is barring that Ja stays and that Zach Edey gets healthy.
And he just picked
If
up Isaiah Stewart.
yes, so it's very very promising. I think that solidified it more them going and getting Isaiah Stewart. So now either he can start or he can play the bench and be able to learn so that way you don't have to rush him out there. But I think his impact's going to be felt very early. Of course, with his dad being Carlos Boozer, of course it's always something about the I guess if you want to call them nepo babies, but pretty much athletes of former NBA players. Um, they get to learn a lot of the tricks and the trades ahead of time. So I think with him going to Memphis, it's a good fit. It's a good fit. It's somebody that the Grizzlies needed. So it's just
Mhm.
more so what are you going to do once they figure out what they're going to do with Ja, if he going to stay or if he going to go, they'll figure it out from there. Me personally, I think he stays because of how they're making moves, but I could be wrong. This motherfucker probably could be traded by the time we go to bed tonight. So,
Yeah,
so,
low key, low
so
key.
who knows?
So,
Who
yep,
fucking knows?
yep.
But I will stick to my guns and say that Ja will remain a Grizzly with the draft picks and the moves that the Grizzlies are making. Like I said, I really really like that Cam Boozer being in Memphis. To end the segment and the episode. Um, I put a question off in our notes, and it is
Oh yeah. Right.
who do y'all think the best draft class is and why? Antoine, I'll start with you. Who's your top of the top draft class?
Man, I'm just gonna keep it simple because I believe it to be true. I think the 1984 draft class is the best draft to ever happen. You had Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, and Charles Barkley all come into the league on the same night. Two of those guys still hold records. John Stockton was also in that draft. He is another
Mhm.
guy that still holds two records. So
Oh,
there was multiple records. So yeah, like there were multiple record holders in that draft alongside the
I think so.
literal greatest player to ever pick up a basketball. So I forever think it's the 1984 draft.
Garrett,
Mm.
who's your class?
Ooh, man, it's a really tough one, bro. Um, I think Antoine was right on it on the 1984 84 draft. But honestly, I'd probably say, it may be the 2003 draft, with LeBron and Chris Bosh and and Dwayne Wade. Those guys
Carmelo.
have, yeah, Carmelo Anthony, yep. So just in terms of just having those guys, you know, of course, don't get me wrong, Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, and all those guys, Charles Barkley, of course, those guys are Hall of Famers, but so are, these guys as well. But, I will say that, you had three players in that draft class, that won, back-to-back championships in Miami. And of course, that you have LeBron James,
Together.
who is
Yeah.
arguably the best player of all time. So, yeah, so that was a very, deep, draft class. So you had a lot of talented players come out of that draft class. So, I'd probably say that's the best draft class in my opinion.
I have the 1996 NBA draft class. 5 Naismith basketball inductees: Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Ben Wallace. 3 MVPs in Iverson, Kobe, and Steve. 2 defensive players, 2 defensive player of the years in Ben Wallace and Marcus Camby. Shout out to my guy Marcus Camby. I've always liked Camby, especially when he played at UMass. By far one of my favorite players. 11 All-Stars. So, of course, AI, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Stephon Marbury, Antoine Walker, Kobe, of course. Peja Stojakovic is in this class. Jermaine O'Neal is in this class. Big Z is in this class. 11 NBA champions. So you got Ray Allen, Antoine Walker. Samaki Walker is in this class. Hey, I don't make the rules, guys. Peja Stojakovic. Derek Fisher is in this class. Hilarious. Travis Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Travis Knight, Malik Rose. Hey, shout out to Malik Rose. Very, very underrated player for the Spurs and to be a 2-time champion. Shandon Anderson, Ben Wallace, of course, and Darvin Ham. Dog, that's how crazy it is. Darvin Ham being not only being the NBA champion, but then also becoming a head coach. 8 NBA all NBA selections, 6 retired numbers. Did not know Big Z was retired with the Cavs. 4 Olympic gold medalists and 4 players on the 75th anniversary team. Just saying. That draft was that draft was loaded from top to bottom. Also in that draft was one of my personal faves, Kerry Kittles. Oh yeah, also 3 statues: Kobe, Allen Iverson, and Stephon Marbury in China. But yeah, 96 has always been like one of my top favorite draft classes because from top to bottom, damn near, that draft class was like it. To me, it was at the very least from what I saw from them playing in college. There wasn't like you couldn't have a wrong pick. Now, of course, that remained to be seen once they got to the league. But overall, if you look at everybody's college play, yeah, like you was getting somebody out that 96 draft. So, but shout out to all everybody that's been drafted. Shout out to the new draftees. As you guys have a new home. Look, as you all have a new home, some of y'all have been traded at least twice already without even knowing it. Some of y'all might get traded again out of nowhere. So, but
some of them are going to be out of the league in like 3-4 years.
Unfortunately. But that wraps up this episode. We are about to go on our break, a much needed break at that, especially for me. I kind of need this break, guys. I'm tired. I'm not gonna hold you. A nigga's tired. But dog, y'all got anything for the people before we shut it down?
No, I think it's already turned out to be an interesting summer already. So, the pot has been stirring, and the pot is hot. So we'll see how it all unfolds for the rest of the summer. But of course, when we come back, we'll be able to get everybody up to speed. But yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting, summer as we go on this break. But yeah, it'll be fun. So can't wait to be back when that time comes.
Yes, sir. Antoine, what you got, man? Before we
Yeah, same as Garrett. Next time we come back, there'll probably be a lot of more things that have changed. But it's always great that we got a place to talk about it, which is right here on the Uncommon Commentators. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, please. All of those great things. Tell your family, tell your friends. And yeah, man, just gonna sit back
Yeah.
and watch this summer league and see what Kingston Flemings does.
Yes, sir.
But yes, sir. Like Antoine just said, yeah, tell your grandma and them to pull up. Shit. Stop playing.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, this is another episode of the Uncommon Commentators. We will holler at y'all when we holler at y'all.
One band, one sound. They gave me my theme music.